Hi, Kelly. Welcome to Funnel Vision Podcast. So excited to have you on the show today. We're going to chat a lot about AI and sales, and I appreciate you being here.
Well, thank you. I appreciate being asked to join you, and I'm looking forward to the conversation.
Perfect. So let's start simple. How are you seeing AI currently show up in the sales process?
It's a great question. Actually, it's becoming more common really in every stage of the sales process. So I can kind of walk you through the different stages and where I'm seeing it. So in the early stages, it's being used to identify and qualify leads. So what it can do is analyze a really large set of customer data to try to predict who is ready to buy. And of course, all of us as consumers are seeing this type of AI happening in our personal lives when we click on an ad and it's retargeting us and we can't seem to get away
Yep.
from it. But in more of a B2B sales process, you can use it to kind of sift through all of the noise and it will help predict who's more likely to buy. In outreach, so if I'm prospecting, so more of a traditional business development role, it can really help the business development executive write and personalize emails. And we know the days of, sending 1,000 blanket emails is sort of dead and gone. The customers are looking for those emails to be personalized to them. And so AI can help streamline and do that. I'm also seeing it some of the tools can help schedule follow-ups. It's something a rep, they're just moving so fast, they may forget what is the next thing I should do with this client or this opportunity. And again, back to those scoring of leads so that they just know where to focus first. I am using AI every day, except for today in this call, but in all my other calls to do note taking. And I have found that to be a huge time saver for myself. So it can record the call and it can create a summary of the call. It's listening, it can have multiple people in that meeting, and it will at the end summarize the action items. So anything that wasn't said in the meeting, that I was going to do this or you were going to do that, it captures that. And so it makes it really easy for the rep to not only know what they said they were going to do, but what the customer was going to do. And if it's post meeting, if we've had the meeting, you can use that. Those notes can automatically be pushed into your CRM. And again, that leads into sort of the predictability of deals and forecasting deals, seeing a lot more AI coming into the customer relationship management platforms that a lot of companies are using. So it's kind of looking at activity and past behaviors, but all of those type of things used to take hours to do a lot of that. So many of those tasks can be done in minutes. So it's not going to replace any of our reps. It's coming becoming more of a co-pilot that handles that busy work so they can focus on selling.
Yeah, absolutely agree. We use it a lot of the same ways. It's kind of what you just mentioned. But I'll also say as recruiters, like we're using AI and the note takers to record our interviews and get insights into interviews, into how people are asking questions, answering questions and things like that. And it's an amazing tool, like once you've got that, and we use it for sales calls, like you said as well, not only for analyzing what's going on in the sales call and people's sentiment about the call and action items and things like that, but really just for having great notes after and going back and being able to refer back to those notes or share those notes with the rest of your team or my operations team and things like that. So it is absolutely fabulous, in that way. And there's a lot of tools out there.
I'm so glad you
Um,
mentioned that
what
because I had forgotten about the sediment part. And then most of them have an AI element within it so you can ask questions about the meeting. Or you can be in that meeting, that note taker app, and say, hey, draft me a summary based on the meeting that I can use as an email follow up. So there's a lot more than just the note taking that's happening that's enabling that sales process. So I'm glad you mentioned that.
Yeah, and, like, the insights that they have, like, I know we use Fathom usually, but we can set it up that tell it, "This is an interview. Analyze this as an interview. This is a sales call. Analyze this as a sales call." So there's all the different ways that you can set that up to really have it give you the best insights for the type of call that you're on.
Definitely.
So it's fun. What do you think AI is doing well in sales right now, and where do you think it's falling short?
Great question. It's definitely saving time and increasing efficiency. So, anyone that's using one of these tools like yourself, you're just like, how did I live without it before? And it's great at pulling insights from large data sets. So, looking for those trends in customer behavior or summarizing a chain of emails where before you used to have to read them all. Now you can just ask for a summary of, meetings, calls, any of those things. So, it just speeds up the process. It's really good at content creation. So things like drafting emails, or if you need a call script or follow up that a rep is doing, and you can really personalize it before sending. So I'm finding that to be super helpful. But where some of the areas that I think there's still some struggles is around sort of context and nuance. It doesn't always understand complex buying dynamics or tone or emotionally those cues that might be happening that we know influence decisions, and being able to read the buyer when we share, particularly the investment it's going to take to buy our product or service. It can't pick up any of that. So it can make, generic recommendations, but you have to guide it really carefully. And so you don't want to just overuse it. It can't build rapport, right? There's just some things that it cannot do, and you
Yeah.
don't want to be too robotic in using it in all of your communication. So I always encourage reps to give it a shot as far as like say what you thought you wanted to say, and then have AI help enhance that rather than relying fully on AI to draft the response.
Yeah, and that's exactly similar, and I absolutely agree. It helps with like what we call like the white page problem. Like, I know what I want to say, but like, how can I put this into a way that makes sense and like organize my thoughts? And that's sometimes how we use AI here. Like, here's the things we want to say now. Like, help us with an outline. But like you said, like, it's got to be authentic and you have to then take it and make it your own. It cannot sound too robotic. Like, you've got to take the, kind of the outline and idea and then make it your own because it's especially in sales, like it's gotta come from you. It's gotta feel real and authentic. And it is. It's just kind of the help getting your ideas, organized in a better layout.
Agreed.
Yeah. And so there's a lot of talk I see everywhere, like of, is AI going to replace salespeople or sales roles? What is your take on this? Is it a threat? Is it a tool or, something else?
It's definitely a tool. It's not a replacement by any means. But it's sort of a reshaper of maybe the role and the expectations in that role. I mean, I think there are some places where AI can take the burden of customer service and answering a bunch of frequently asked questions off of the rep, and having some of those things automated, but you still need the rep because it can't again understand nuance. So it can take over those repetitive tasks like research or note taking or scheduling, but the parts of the sales that require empathy and trust and persuasion or negotiation, those are really deeply human, and that's we're never going to be able to replace that. So I think the reps who embrace AI become more productive and more valuable to their organization. And so, you think about, the calculator. I mean, it didn't replace accountants just because it can do smart math. So AI is not going to eliminate salespeople. It'll just elevate the profession, I think, for those who adopt it and choose to use it. The real threat, I don't think it's AI itself. It's ignoring how AI is changing the landscape, and businesses that don't start to adopt it with, and I should say with good policies and good oversight, they may get left behind. And I don't know how much we're going to talk about that today, if at all, but you do need to have an AI policy because there's always a risk of customer data, um, getting let loose, not only within the organization, but potentially externally. So turning off some of the buttons that say, "Hey, train this model." I may not want to train it so that the public doesn't get access to some of my data. So having a paid account, even in and of itself, something like a Chat GPT does not protect you. There's some other things you need to do to sort of wall off your data, and being very careful about sensitive data, employees, social security numbers, and you just or customer, financials and things like that. We got to be careful.
Yeah, absolutely. That is important. I think that is going to evolve as and policies, like you said, are going to evolve kind of as people get more used to AI. And with what you said as well, I absolutely agree with you. I think it is definitely a tool. It is, in sales specifically, it's about creating relationships, creating value, having those authentic conversations. And yes, AI can help you with your follow-ups or your note taking and things like that, but AI is not going to, sit with your client or potential client and create a relationship, and understand really what truly drives them, what their needs are, and be able to listen. Yes, it can listen and on the note takers and things like that, but really developing that relationship, it's human. It's not something, or hopefully not something, that AI is is gonna do. It's definitely not doing it right now.
Yeah.
But like that's really something that's totally, human, and is such a big part, is creating those, authentic relationships.
Yeah, there's two traits I tell all salespeople they really need to display in the sales process, and that is empathy. It's understanding the client's situation and being able to articulate that, I hear what you're saying to me, and this is obviously very difficult for you. And then authority. So empathy and authority. Authority, I have the ability to fix this. You are not unique. I see this problem all the time. And the good news is I can help you. And AI can't sort of articulate those two things really well. That comes in that one-on-one interaction with my client to say, I can help.
Right, exactly. And what do you think are some smart ways that sales teams can start using AI today? Like, even if they're not tech savvy, are there any, tools and that you recommend? I know we talked about, note takers, but what else is out there that you can recommend?
Oh, tools, my favorite. You can't just embrace tools, but I do love to talk about tools. So obviously, we've got ChatGPT. That's just sort of the one that everybody knows. Along those lines, you have Perplexity and Copilot and Bard, and all the ones that just sort of allow you to write those personalized email drafts, call scripts, proposals, things like that. But now you can start overlaying some other tools into your day as a salesperson. One of them that I like is Grammarly Go. So if you want to improve your tone or your clarity in your emails, that one just works wherever you are at. So if you're in your email, it's going to make recommendations to change it or modify the tone, or in a Word document, wherever you're sort of at. So that's a fun one. You can get a free version of that to try out. We obviously talked about note takers. You use Fathom. I'm a big fan of Fireflies. I have customers that like Sybil, others that like Otter. So again, just try one. All of them, Fireflies in particular, you can do a free trial as well. You get something like 800 minutes for free that it'll keep on record for you. So no reason not to give that a whirl. But that's going to transcribe and summarize calls, connect to your CRM. So all those notes are
Mhm.
automatically populated. And that's part of it too, Alana, is to make sure if you're using one tool, how can you connect it to another tool to make that sales motion easier? So if your note taker pushes to your CRM, great. One less motion I have to do to remember. I don't have to copy and paste. And anybody else that goes and looks to see what happened in that meeting has those meeting notes accessible. So that would lead me to CRMs. I mean, so now we're seeing CRMs have these AI capabilities built in to provide insights. And every client that wants to grow revenue should have a CRM. I cannot stress that enough. And that's with or without AI capabilities. So we want the CRM, but the AI part now overlaying is going to provide those insights and start helping the salesperson with their follow up and that predictability that we're looking for. A new one that we just started partnering
Absolutely.
with is called Yodely. And it can do role playing. So that's really fun. So if you're going to onboard new sales reps, they can do this role play action with AI and really look to scale them up much quicker than maybe they would have otherwise. My newest favorite, because I just used it the other day, is Gamma. So Gamma is creates beautiful presentations, and you can do it just from an AI prompt. It is mind-blowing. Now, I tried I think it was beautiful. This was probably a year and a half ago. It was the same kind of concept, let's create a PowerPoint presentation. It was real clunky. It's probably better today, but man, Gamma kind of blew my mind. So if you have anything that you need to present to a client, you can put in meeting notes, you could put in your proposal, you could just start from an AI prompt and it will generate just a beautiful proposal and change the design with one click. It's nuts. If you haven't tried it, go try it for free. It's mind blowing. Yeah, yeah, that's one to I'm not joking. Just go try the free version. You can do it for free, but even the paid version, it's like $10 a month. I mean, it's a no-brainer. Again, being everything that you
Mhm.
look at, I want to encourage, and I don't know about Gamma if it is, but everything we're looking for should be SOC 2 compliant. I mean, that we want that walled in, kind of the highest layer of security that we can get. So that's true for your CRM, for your note taker, and other tools like that. So I would just encourage people to look out for that too. Copilot is one that if you use Office 365, it's hanging out there with the rainbow thing up in the corner, and most
Yeah.
people are just like, I don't know what that is. I don't want to mess with it. But you should. You should give it a try. Everybody that has a subscription gets free AI credits with Copilot that they can try. So you don't have to have a Copilot subscription, although that may be a choice that you or your organization make at some point, but you can use it in your email to just create that draft response. You can use it to improve your response. You can, if you're in Word, it works. So you don't have to be in ChatGPT and copy and paste into a Word document. It lives right in Word and allows you to do that. Same with Excel. It'll allow you to analyze data and do some other things while you're in the application that you're working in. So the only I don't know how I say this, but like you got to be careful again if you do it for your company, who can see what? Because if you get access to a SharePoint drive, boy oh boy, it might everybody might have access to everything. So layers of security and being thoughtful about your AI policies are really important. I love HeyGen for creating videos. So if you haven't seen
Mm.
this too, you can if you just have a training document, you can copy and paste it into HeyGen. It'll make a beautiful video. You can pick your avatar, your voice, and turn that stale document into a live training video. So just some people are visual learners. That can be a really easy thing. Again, I think you get, I don't know, 3 or 4 minutes of a free video a month that you can make. So go check it out. I also love, and this is my last one, then I'll let you talk, but it's also Scribe. Scribe is really cool. It's a Chrome extension, it's free. And as you are trying to create training documents, it will watch the motions that you're making on your screen and take screenshots along the way. And so you record and then you stop, and it creates an entire training document of everything you just did. So if you ever get that call that says, hey, I don't remember how to do XYZ, you go ahead and do it, but you do a scribe and then you can send them the scribe, and forever again, they should never call you. And then if somebody else on the team needs to know the same thing, you've got this scribe created. So those are great. There's another one called Guide that does sort of the same thing, but with video. So it just depends on what you want
Mm.
to do. All of these free to use, at least to try them out. And so I would just encourage everybody to start small. Pick one area that's maybe taking up too much time or effort and go test one tool because again, most of them are offering free trials and they're pretty easy to onboard.
Yeah. Wow, that
That's
was
a lot, I know.
so much No, it was great. That was like I'm so excited this is on video and I can go back and go back through each of those things that you said, and I took some notes as well because yeah, there's so many tools out there. Some of them that you've mentioned I've heard of, some of you I have not heard of. So I'm excited to go check those out. One of the things that we really didn't, chat about yet was like, and that you mentioned here too, was AI for, for training, where you said you had the one that can do the role play, or even like Scribe, where you can, you create training or training videos, and it really improves. And that's, sales or at any other place in the organization, to really use those to create those, repeatable processes, and have people really doing, having that is amazing. And even with your note takers and recording meetings, we use that for training here too. Like, let's go back to your meeting and look at it. Like, in the past, you weren't able to, if your boss or, whoever was not in the meeting with you, like, you couldn't go back and like reassess. And it's being able to like watch those, sports plays from the other team, or just, kind of have that like person that can say, like, let's look at this call and go through a training and talk about what you could do better next time and things like that. It's fabulous.
Well, and what really I think is so great about it, so go back to that one talked about Yodely, which is, again, a newer partner of ours. even if I recorded a call on my note taker, I can export that and put it into Yodely and get the coaching. So I don't have to go to my manager and maybe go through some embarrassing coaching of, what I could have done better, because you can load sales methodology into that system and say, "Hey, I use spin selling or rain selling or Sandler selling, whatever it is." And you can build that into the coach part of it, and it'll run through and say, you did or you didn't follow the methodology that we're training you on, or that we would like for you to be using. So you can even
Yeah.
save managers time now to let reps sort of self do go through that self coaching process. So I'm glad that you picked up a few tips. To You'll have to email me and tell me after you check them out what you think.
I absolutely
But they're
will,
good
I
for the whole
will. Uh,
organization, far reaching
yeah.
beyond sales for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And how do you see, like, AI impacting the human side of sales? We talked about this a little bit, but building trust, authenticity, and things like that.
Yeah, I think when it's used effectively, AI frees up time from the admin stuff, so it's going to allow reps to focus more on building relationships and understanding the customer and truly adding value. But if you overuse it, those interactions are going to start to feel cold or scripted. I mean, if every response you use is you're going through like an auto generated process, buyers stop, they're going to feel like they're talking, like you said, to a robot, not a real person. So I think the key is to use AI behind the scenes as a support tool, not a replacement. Let AI handle some of the prep work, but keep the conversations human. I mean, that's what we're looking for. Authenticity, as you said, it still matters more than ever in this world of automation.
Yeah. And how do you see AI changing the way that we sell or the way buyers buy also?
Yeah, well, sales, it's becoming faster, more personalized, and more data driven, because now we have the tools to do a lot of that. So, challenging buyers expect, as we do probably as buyers, immediate responses, but we also want to feel like it's tailored to us, and we want value from that very first interaction. So AI can help sellers sort of meet those expectations by providing some insights into what we know about the buyer, or how they behave, or what might resonate with them. We can do research much quicker now to know, before we get into that meeting, what's going to resonate with them. From the seller side, I think AI is going to help with prioritizing deals, better, pipeline forecasting, probably more effective coaching, as we talked about. And ultimately, what I'm looking for is, how can I shorten the sales cycle, right? Like, how can I get some of the friction of that manual follow up, or, gosh, this proposal, it's just moving so slowly, or I'm not sure, if this lead is qualified. How can I get some of that noise out of my day so that I feel like I'm, really being productive? So, you know, I think for buyers, a more smoother, personalized experience, and for sellers, less time sort of guessing, doing busy work, and more time closing.
Yeah, I absolutely agree on that as well. It is even for the way buyers buy. I think like I've looked at things differently now too, where I can do a little bit my as a buyer do some more research too, and using that AI to compare products, compare things and as well. So it's kind of on both sides, and I think everyone's been jumping on that train over the past couple of years of using AI for just these daily life tasks too. So it's going to change a lot of things.
But, at the end of the
So
day,
Kelly,
oh, I'm
yep.
sorry. I was
Sorry.
just gonna say, at the end of the day,
No, no,
if
go.
it's a consultative sale, I mean, some of this is they're still buying you. You as the seller, and how they feel like they're gonna be handled throughout this interaction and transaction. And so that's, AI can't replace you and how you're going to treat your clients. So I think that's just important to note, that no matter what, you still gotta show up and do what you said you were gonna do.
Yeah, still people are buying from people they know, like, and trust. It's still that's still going to be the case. So yeah, absolutely agree. So yeah, so tell us, Kelly, a little bit about you and your background, what you do, and where people can find you.
Absolutely. I appreciate the question. So, I have been a sales leader for my entire career, over 30 years. I have been a fractional sales leader for the last 8, as a part of sales acceleration. I was their visionary for the last 3 years. I just stepped out of that role just to spend more time traveling and doing some other things. But Sales Acceleration is a global company of over 220 advisors, and we all help our clients build a path to more sales. So that's what I do. I meet with small businesses, founder led, mostly, um, family owned businesses, and they tend to hit a revenue level where they get stuck and they don't know how to get to the next level, or they've had a lot of really great growth and they just don't know how to repeat that. And so I work with them to build out their sales infrastructure and, when needed, provide those fractional sales management services. So at the end of the day, I'm there to help relieve their stress, help them sleep better at night, knowing that they've got a scalable, repeatable sales process with the right team in place so that they can grow and ultimately do whatever it is that they want to do in life and not be worrying about it. So they
Awesome.
can
I love
find me.
that. And
Yeah.
where can people find you?
Yes,
Yeah.
they can find me.
Yeah,
My
where can
email
people
is
find
kcrandall at salesacceleration.com. And you can find me on my website. I have a website as well, and you can find it through the Sales Acceleration website. All of our advisors are listed there.
Perfect. Well, Kelly, thank you so much. This has been so insightful and so much great information on AI and just kind of your insights and where we're going and what you're seeing. So this has been great. I appreciate you being on the show and look forward to continuing our conversation soon.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. I appreciate the time.